cereal, and then the bubbles capture the actual powder instead of the mix, and then it pops on the surface, and there's a cloud of tang, and you just choke on it every time you drink it.
That sounds great.
I used to take a spoonful
No.
with water, and then dip it in, just barely dip it in under the water, and then like
Eat it?
the wet stuff would just like fall away into the water, and then you just eat the rest of the spoon.
Oh man,
It was good.
I used to do that with like when you did Nesquik, you put way too much mixed in, and then you wait till you get to the bottom, you just
it's
the
just
sugar,
syrup. It's
and
just
then
syrup.
I love that. That was my thing. Yeah.
and the instant iced tea too.
Well, I think that's probably, mental health tip 1 is eat a bunch of Nesquik while you're on lockdown and listen
or
to this
Tang.
podcast. Mm-hmm. So with that said, why don't we get started, guys? Welcome to another episode of the NRDWave podcast. And today, since Mulan may or may not be coming out this week, I'm not really sure. I haven't checked the latest news. But I thought it'd be fun if we rated some of the classic Disney movies, excluding Pixar, because that's a whole different subject that we'll probably get to some point in the future. So yeah, just ranking our top 5 Disney movies, animated ones. So yeah, let's get started with that. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I am probably the biggest Disney fan here.
Like physically,
I'm sure I've seen more of them than you guys. Although Jay's been around for so long, he's probably seen the originals like 100,000 times.
Steamboat Willie.
Dang.
Steamboat Willie, his favorite. It came out when he was a wee lad.
That didn't have any sound when it came out, did it?
I think did it? I don't know.
You tell
I
me.
think they just had someone whistling in the background.
It's just your grandpa in the background with you, like, "Ooh, this is good."
No, he's
I
like
feel
behind the TV, just whistling.
It was the first Mystery Science Theater, but it was Mystery Disney Theater.
Nice. All right,
man.
Bobby. So take it away then. If you think that you're the biggest Disney movie fan
Ever.
what do you got? Ever.
Just so
of
we're
all time,
clear.
mega fan
Of all time.
especially not your girlfriend doesn't top you on this, of course.
No.
There's no
Christy doesn't like Disney as much as I do. I love Disney. She's just a rookie. Anyway, my number 5 spot, I actually had like 9 movies that I could have put in my top 5. Like I have like a lot of movies that I really love that are Disney animated movies. The one I went with here though is Moana. Moana, I mean, for one thing, which is it's going to catch me for almost any movie, The Rock's in it. He's one of the main characters, and he's charismatic as hell. He's his typical Rock self. You have the main character. I don't know the actress's name, but Moana is a very good character. She's pretty much everything that you would want Rey from Star Wars to be, like especially in like The Last Jedi. But then everything that she's not. So like she's not a Mary Sue, and The Last Jedi just sucks. You know what I mean?
So she has challenges,
and she struggles to overcome them, and you can see her journey to overcome them. And she doesn't just bypass the compressor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
But Moana it's one of my probably more favorite movies of the last few years. I've probably watched it 8 to 10 times. It's a fun watch. It's got a really good story, front, middle, and end. And it's got a 96 critic score and 89 audience score. So it's a pretty beloved Disney movie. So it's kind of like one of those instant classics.
I don't know, movies have fronts.
That one, to be honest, got away from me.
Actually, it's pretty good. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to hear The Rock singing.
I'm sure it's helped by
Yeah, digitally it's helped, and but it's pretty good. It's got a lot of good songs.
It's like all the stuff that I do to our voices on our recordings.
Yeah,
you guys sound way better on the recordings than in real life, and that's saying something.
I know. And
thank you, Kevin.
hearing how I sound in these podcasts, you can only imagine how bad it is in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes for all of us. What do you have, Jay? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is an oldie. I picked Robin Hood.
Ooh, that was almost my number 5.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have so many fond memories of watching that as a kid.
You know why?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know why for me? Because there's a pretty foxy
Oh
anthropomorphic.
yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Maid Marian.
Maid Marian. Yeah, she's foxy.
Yeah, literally.
Foxy lady.
Literally.
I like the song. I like the lute playing rooster. I think he's my favorite part of the whole thing, and just listening to his music the whole movie was just so much fun to do. It was a fun take on the whole Robin Hood story. It wasn't as dark and wasn't as violent. It was more like lighthearted and like comedic. So obviously it's a Disney movie, but it was a lot of fun for me. I have a lot of fun memories.
I think that the rooster would have been better. I think he was a little bit miscast. Foghorn Leghorn should have played that character. I say. He's stealing from the rich.
In
giving to the
Middle
poor.
England.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's thieves up in here.
Straight out of Louisiana. So I'm not gonna
remake it and have Daniel Craig play it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have no modern Disney movies on my list at all.
That doesn't shock me in the slightest.
There's nothing from this millennium. So, and I think there's a reason for that. As I grew up into adulthood, I sort of, moved past these childish things and moved on to, comic book movies and Power Rangers. So, yeah.
More complicated childish things.
Wait, you like the Power Rangers beyond the 2000s? Is what you're telling me?
The movie was pretty good.
Fair enough.
Wow, it's so weird. We have Power Rangers in here, and I had a Power Rangers tie-in for my #1 movie.
Oh, wow.
No way. Teaser.
Oh.
That's a tease if I've ever heard one. So, yeah, my number 5 movie is 101 Dalmatians. I think the story is incredibly classic, and I think the thing that is most notable about it is the villain. I think Cruella de Vil is one of probably the most evil. She
scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I didn't like that movie because of
she wanted to kill a bunch of puppies, then make a coat. Like, what's more evil than that as a kid?
Exactly, yeah. The probably the most cherished thing as a child is a pet, and most likely a dog. Even though Dalmatians are kind of assholes, but they probably deserved it.
They probably deserved it. Yeah.
Inbred asshole.
That was a real scary villain at the time. I remember actually every time she was on screen being like, oh my god, this is going to be another Fox and the Hound.
And then the live action with Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil, they did a pretty good job, and I didn't like that movie either because she was too good at it.
That's really good casting.
Yeah,
she's perfect for that role. Yeah, which is, when did that movie come out? Was that before all this, like, all the new live action remakes?
That was like in
it was like one of the first
99,
ones.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it's been that might have been the first one that they did.
They're probably gonna do it again.
I could see it. Yeah, that 100. I was thinking 101 Dalmatians, but I think a lot more of mine are a lot more recent than that. Well, yeah, a lot more recent than that.
96 was that when that one was done.
That's mostly because 96 that came out.
Yeah,
that might be the newest movie that's on my list.
Jeez.
But I was gonna say, Bobby, the reason that you're like that is because you like every movie you just saw.
Well, let's see. What's Frozen 2 is the last one, so that's my #1. Just spoilers ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. All right. So of these 5, what would you guys say is the best? I mean, try to be as not as biased as you probably want to be. But what was yours again, Bobby?
Moana.
Oh yeah. So I haven't seen that one. I can't really comment. I do really like Robin Hood, though. I almost put it as my number 5. I think that 101 Dalmatians has more of it's almost like a suspenseful story when they're going through the chase scenes and all that stuff. So I think that I'd give mine the edge. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Well, for me, I would say that Moana is the best of the 3. It's been a while since I've seen Robin Hood, but I do remember having a lot of good memories watching that as a kid. Like it's a fun movie, It's a lot more fun than like the versions that they've they've done a lot more like realistic ones, like the.
They've done so many iterations of Robin Hood, it's ridiculous.
I know. Well, they had the one with Russell Crowe, I think, like 10 years ago.
That one's really good.
Is that
but it's
really
like
that old already? Man.
It's something like that. I think it's within the last 10 years. But then you had the one last year with
2010.
with Eggsy from the Kingsman, and it was kind of good, but like it just didn't have that fun factor that that the animated one did. 101 Dalmatians, that's a fun movie. It's definitely one of the most classic Disney ones. But Moana, you get, like I said, you get a great lead with Moana as a strong female character. Like I would honestly put her up there with like Ripley, in the pantheon of like good female characters or good female leads.
I've got a comment on that later on in my list. One of the movies I have is kind of known for that. So I'll get to that later. So that's a cool trend that was definitely started then. What about you, Jay? What do you think?
I'm gonna still have to go with mine, Robin Hood. I think mine is the most lighthearted. I feel like it's the more fun than both those movies. I mean, I'll enjoy both of the movies. Moana was great. It's one of the better Disney movies that's come out in recent time. And like I said, 101 Dalmatians scared the crap out of me, so I could never like fully enjoy it.
I think that's kind of why I did enjoy it so much, because it was like, for me, movies that I really enjoy are movies that give me some sort of emotional response.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned with the newest Robin Hood, I felt nothing watching that whole movie, and they do a very bad job of connecting different characters and making you want to care about them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So just blah, it was just meh the whole time, and yeah. So any kind of emotional response I get is it always sticks with me, and that's almost how I don't want to say exclusively, but that's how I kind of judge movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, you talk about that, like Moana, like some of the best parts of Moana is like the songs. Like there are a few like lighthearted, like fun songs. Like The Rock has one, like you were talking about. Then there's one by Jermaine Clement, who's from Flight of the Conchords. It's called Shiny, and it's just like a really fun song about him loving shiny stuff. He's like this big crab, Tamatoa. Mm-hmm. But then like you have a lot of like there's like a lot of soul in like Moana songs, like her personal songs. Like spoiler alert, her grandma passes in the movie, and she's very close with her. I know. I'm sorry, Kevin. You had a few years to watch.
You should have given me a chance to mute you.
It's not a main plot point, but like she has a song.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that in Coco, the grandma dies.
No, she lives forever. She's immortal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no worries there.
That's literally the whole plot of that movie, isn't it?
No, I think it's the grandpa.
Oh, that's right. Whatever. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
No, the grandma lives forever. I think that's what I took away from this movie.
I did actually see it, and it was on a cruise, so I was a little bit inebriated. But
that's a good movie. But yeah. So, anyways, like she sings this really soulful song. Like her entire plot is like trying to save her island and save her people, and like she's trying to discover who she is, and like it's just like you talk about emotion, and like I'm a softie, so it's like.
True.
The music that they get to make people cry makes me cry, and it's like makes me like well up, and like they hit every point trying to get the emotional feels out of that, and that's one of the things I love about this movie.
Well, it sounds awesome, and it sounds to me like none of us are being swayed in any way, so we're all sticking with our original picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a tie.
Yeah, and
mine is the only golden age Disney movie in this right now. So
yeah, but mine's a Renaissance era, so. So, okay. So let's move on. Oh, shit. I didn't even realize what my next one was. This is going to be embarrassing. Okay. Go ahead, Bobby. What's your next one?
All right. This one, I don't know if you guys will agree or not, but this is one of the most fun movies that I've watched for the Disney animated movies, Emperor's New Groove. I personally think it's David Spade's best movie.
David Spade.
Dude, it's a very good movie. I know
what a high bar that is.
It's got an 85 critic and 83 audience, so
that was all David Spade.
No, but not only that, what other movie gets close to that?
Joe Dirt.
Nothing against David Spade.
Joe Dirt.
I love David Spade, but he's not Daniel Day-Lewis. He's not.
Okay, fine.
He's a method actor for sure.
It's one of John Goodman's better movies.
Actually, David Spade pretended to be a llama for like his whole time he was doing that movie.
So
just spitting on people.
The thing I love about this movie is just it's like not a buddy cop movie, but it's a buddy movie between Kuzco, David Spade's character, and John Goodman. It's a king and a peasant having to team up after Kuzco gets turned into a llama, and it's just their journey back, and it's just they've got such great chemistry together, and it's just so much fun to see their interactions back and forth.
I thought that was Patrick Warburton. Was that just for the show?
No, he was the villain. He's the henchman.
He's the henchman. Yeah, henchman.
He's the heavy.
So who the hell is John Goodman's character?
He's the peasant. He's just like the big peasant dude.
The forgettable one, obviously.
Well, for Kevin, whose newest movie on here is 1996, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
But it's like, oh, and you mentioned Kronk is the character. He's actually I think he's probably the standout of the movie.
Yeah. Patrick Warburton is just amazing.
They gave him his own spin-off after, for the next movie. I don't know how that was. I didn't watch it. But I mean, that's how good he was in that role. He was just so funny and just like had so many, he was so stupid but so hilarious at the same time. Like it's like he was basically voiced by David Puddy. That's how
I was gonna ask that.
Funny it was. It's just a fun movie. Like I'll watch it every few months, and I get a kick out of it every single time.
Nice. So what do you have, Jay? What's your number 4?
Number 4 is The Jungle Book.
Hmm.
I love that movie. I don't know why. That one's pretty dark too, so it's kind of weird that I'm afraid of Dalmatians. Under One Dalmatians.
You're a hypocrite.
I might be a hypocrite.
Shao Kahn was terrifying.
Jay's a hypocrite.
You know what? But Shao Kahn's a talking tiger. You know, he couldn't be a real person like Cruella de Vil.
True, but and also not as sexy as Nala.
No, definitely not as sexy as Nala.
But the Black Panther, what's his name?
Bagheera.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, all those
That's
characters
Black
are so
Panther
cool.
is T'Challa.
And once again, all the songs are so amazing and so good. You just sing along with them, you know, every time it comes on. Yeah, you got
King Louis was great.
Oh, yeah, give me
King
some
Louis. You have
songs.
Louis
Jay.
Armstrong actually doing the voice for King Louis.
Is that actually him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is so cool. And then, you know, you got Baloo, you know, just a bare necessities and just
Yeah, that's such a
everything
good
about
song,
that
too.
movie is good.
Yeah.
Just
I almost put
so
that
much
song on my list. I mean, that movie on my list as well. But I watched it more recently, and the story kind of goes nowhere. It's kind of
yeah.
weird. So, and it doesn't really follow the book that much. It's almost like the first 3 chapters of the book, sort of thing. You know, where it feels
It's
like
like
it doesn't actually go through its full arc.
The Jungle Chapter? Is that what it should be called?
Yeah, exactly. The Jungle Half book, but
Cliff Notes.
but the remake one I did see. That's one of the few remakes I've actually seen of any of these Disney movies, and it was really good. And it actually has a full arc. But as a kid, loved that movie. All the characters were great, especially Blue. Blue was fun.
And then just the fact that, you know, this kid's raised by wolves in the jungle, you know, and he's a wolf, part of the wolf pack, and it's kind of like a fantasy a kid has to go live in the jungle, you know, with a bunch of animals. It's kind of cool, just running
never
around.
had
that
that
one.
fantasy. No.
That might
Never-
have been that might have been
I
your
want to
Native
live in the
American blood,
forest.
bro.
Yeah, maybe it's the Native American blood. It's in me. I feel the call.
That's why, like, every time you see like a crazy bug or animal, you want to just go up to it and like hold it.
Oh my
This
God.
is true.
Remember those spiders when we were camping?
I don't want to touch spiders. No, thank you.
That's where you draw the line.
I draw the line. Of
They're
spiders.
they're God's creatures, Jay.
No, they're Satan's creatures.
Okay, so my number 4, and why I said that this is embarrassing is because my number 4 is Robin Hood.
Oh,
So I should have agreed with Jay on that last.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
was
no,
the
you disagreed.
hypocrite.
It wasn't good enough to be number 5.
Who's the
That's true.
hypocrite now?
it was too good to be number 5, which means it's not as good as 101 Dalmatians at number 5.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
It's
That's
all
some
from
men-
it's perspective, Jay.
That's mental gymnastics right there.
Like a drug dealer rationalizing stealing money.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to
At least
get
I'm
too.
not selling drugs. I don't
It's
know.
like a hooded guy rationalizing stealing money and giving it to other people. Oops. So yeah, basically a lot of the same reasons that Jay gave on the last round. It's just a really lighthearted story. We've seen all the dour ones, especially the Kevin Costner one. Jeez, could it get any more boring?
I like
But
that
yeah.
movie.
Wasn't Alan Rickman the sheriff in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently he was like I haven't seen it, but apparently he was super good in that role.
Oh,
He's
you
good
know
at
what?
every role he's in.
Next,
Well, that's
next
true.
episode idea: Robin Hood rankings.
Pretty easy.
I thought you were gonna say best Alan Rickman movie.
Men in
Who was-
Tights,
who
number
was
one.
the best sheriff of Nottingham?
Men in Tights, number one.
Men in
Oh, yeah,
Tights. Damn it!
definitely.
I was gonna take that.
Abe Lincoln.
Just say Abe Lincoln.
Lincoln.
But yeah, like one of the most memorable scenes for me in the Robin Hood movie is, you know, the legendary splitting an arrow with the other arrow.
Yeah.
That's just really fun scene, especially because he just totally shows up, you know, the other competitors and all that. But yeah, like I said, don't want to get too repetitive on this one, especially since I kind of made a fool of myself. So, anyone swaying this time?
I mean, okay, so you got Jungle Book, you got Robin Hood. I still think Emperor's New Groove is the most fun watch of these 3 movies.
Definitely the funniest.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's got so much comedy in it that like not a lot of the other movies really do. It's probably maybe the most funny outside of like 1 or 2 other movies that I can think of off the top of my head. I think Emperor's New Groove. If you're gonna want to watch a movie for an hour and a half, just have fun and enjoy it, you're probably gonna watch Emperor's New Groove out of these 3.
Yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, it's the one that you'd be like, Jay, stop shaking your head.
He's like, no, I want forest fires in my movies. That's how I enjoy
That
my
seems
movies.
so scary. But then tie a flaming stick to a tiger's tail and he goes running.
It's hilarious.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But I think that I'm gonna be swayed here, and I'd have to agree with Bobby. That I think that if I were to pick any of these three movies at any time to watch, it's gonna be that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you, Jay? What do you think?
I think I've been swayed by you, and then Jungle Book is a favorite movie.
What?
We're already so confused by this round, so I'm going to agree with you guys. I think Emperor New Grave is probably more relevant, and not relevant, but I think the humor is more fresh, obviously.
And I think like Eartha Kitt, like as the villain Yzma, like she's actually like a really like fun, it's because like she's not too serious and like she gets made to look like a fool a few times, and I think like she has fun with the role.
I think I've only seen the movie actually one time, so maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I've only seen
it's
it
a
maybe
fun
once or
watch.
twice, but I remember watching the TV show, and that was good. The villain was like a punching bag. It was really hilarious. All right, great. So yeah, basically we agree with Bobby's choice there.
Yeah.
Wait, did we just give him the win?
On that round, yes.
Trust me, no.
No.
Trust me, I got a great list going forward.
I win.
You know how I know I have a great list going forward? Because I actually remember what I chose. So
Going forward.
What do you get? Yeah, going forward. First two rounds don't count. Now I'm paying attention.
All right, I won that round, so I'm not going first this time.
All right, after you, Jay. What do you have? What do you have at 3?
Number 3, Mulan.
That's a good choice.
I kind of figured that was going to be on this list, considering the movie's coming out.
Well, I mean,
probably
it's a great
good
movie.
idea.
It's a great animated movie too.
Mhm.
I mean, you got Eddie Murphy as a cartoon character. What more could you want?
Eddie Murphy is so good in that friggin' role.
I only want Eddie Murphy as a big fat guy.
Nah, this looks like
Takes
his
a
worst
potion
role.
to become skinny. No, his
Well, no,
worst role is Pluto Nash or Norbit.
I love Pluto Nash and I love Norbit.
You would love
Way more
Pluto
than
Nash.
Nutty
Jay,
Professor.
you would love those movies.
Damn it, Jay. Bobby loves every movie he just saw. Jay loves every movie. Period.
I love every movie. I love Lamp.
Unless it's a newer Disney movie. That's the only thing he doesn't love.
Yeah, that's where he draws the line.
They just don't appeal to me. They don't call my name like they used to, man.
What do you love about Mulan? I'm
I'm
curious.
gonna have to edit that part out, Jay. You're ruining the whole thing. Yeah, tell us about Mulan.
The action in the Mulan is pretty good, and the story is like, hey, this chick's pretending to be a dude. I guess it's very progressive for then, I guess. Now as everyone's been like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. I like the animation in it too. I mean, the drawing style was really cool. I like, just like I said, I like the action. The song's really great. Donny Osmond singing that.
Make a Man Out of You.
Yeah, Make
That's
a Man Out of You.
great
That's a
song.
really good song. And anytime it comes on, you're blasting it and you're singing right along with it.
It's a Rocky training montage song.
It really
'cause
is.
That's when she becomes like the strong fighter or the strong soldier.
And of course, it's got kung fu. So I mean, come on.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then obviously my favorite part is Mushu, the dragon, is Eddie Murphy. I think he makes that whole movie.
Dishonor on
and
your
it's-
family, dishonor on your cow.
It's hilarious. And the little cricket and then the horse too. They're all the good side characters. But
Mhm.
like I said, it
I
was
wonder-
just a really cool movie when it came out, and it still holds up.
I wonder
Oh,
if
yeah,
they're gonna
absolutely.
do Mushu at all in the new one, or if
I'm hoping
how he's
it shows
gonna
up
portray him.
somewhere.
It sounds like they're making it too realistic, even though there's like magic in it. Like
That's
from
why I'm
first
thinking
off.
they show some magic in there. I think Mushu's going to show up because I think it's just going to be.
But he's not
It's
gonna
just
be
gonna be a
comic
surprise.
relief, right?
I mean,
Because if it
who knows?
was, it would have to be Eddie Murphy.
yeah, it would have
Like,
to be.
It's like the whole Aladdin thing with when recasting Robin Williams. It was weird because that's such an iconic character for him. So like
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy or Mushu being played by anybody else would be strange.
Yeah.
Unless
I mean-
they're doing an Eddie Murphy impression. Yeah.
Not to give credit where credit is due. I think.
Not to.
Not to. We don't want to give credit.
Don't make
No
mistake.
credit here.
Make
We give
no
Gump,
It to give
but
credit,
no credit.
Credit is due. I think Will Smith actually did a pretty decent job. I think it was just a weird
I'm gonna blow your mind.
direction.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
Okay,
Disney
that's
Plus.
super
I'm
surprising.
not seeing any of the remakes.
It's on your TV for free.
Except
right
for
now.
Jungle Book. I accidentally saw it.
It's on Disney Plus. Just watch them. Just watch that.
No,
watch
I
The Lion
disagree with
King.
them.
It's fine.
I'm gonna watch
You
the
disagree.
originals. Yeah, they're pointless.
Fair enough.
They're catch grabs.
Yeah.
It was.
We're
pretty
never
much
getting a
the same.
Disney deal.
this is what's going
This
to
is
cost
why.
us the Disney.
Yeah, this is
We've already
why.
made- I don't think we can get Disney
This
deals.
moment
We've cussed
right
so
here.
far. We've talked about Blumpkins in one episode.
Hey, PewDiePie got a
That was-
Disney deal.
That was just a just
that
a
was you
small
saying
town country blumpkin. Okay, Jay.
All right.
It was a Blumpkin sheriff.
I'll go next. I think I have a bit of a wild card here. A Goofy movie.
Oh,
my God.
Do you want to hear a fact really quick about that?
A Goofy movie?
Yeah, it's one of the lowest rated Disney animated movies
Doesn't
based
matter,
on
you know
Rotten
why?
Tomatoes.
It didn't even cross my mind as one of the
Doesn't matter, you know
classic
why?
Disney movies.
Why?
Best song of any Disney movie.
Well,
I think it's got the best
Power-
soundtrack.
the
obviously.
Powerline song.
It
Powerline
doesn't.
has several
It only
songs.
has 2 songs that are good, but they're really good.
Yeah. And the scene's just really cool. He's basically Michael Jackson wearing an
Oh.
electric jumpsuit. It's
I thought he was
sweet.
supposed to be
Prince.
Prince.
Oh,
yeah.
I think he's an amalgamation of both because he's doing
that makes sense.
he's doing like a Michael Jackson dance moves.
It was
and
like
stuff.
it was like Prince, MC Hammer, and Michael Jackson put
And
together.
then
Yeah.
his love interest was what's her name?
such a babe.
Another
Such a
such
babe,
animal
dude.
kept spinning wild.
Oh,
the only
man.
thing that's missing is Lola Rabbit or whatever her name is
Oh.
from Space Jam.
Can we add Space Jam in this just for that?
Warner Brothers guys. We
Yeah.
can't do.
But I really love that movie. It's a really cool. It's like a coming of age story, and I think watching it at the time because I think it came out in like '96,
late 90s or mid to late 90s, yeah, for sure.
So I was reaching my teenage years, so I kind of related to it. I was never embarrassed by my father, but like I know the fact that like you're trying to break free and freedom is important, especially when there's the pressure of like meeting a girl or you have a crush on a girl and you just want to spend all your time with them, and that's like his whole motivation, and he ends up like stepping on people along the way. Sounds kind of familiar. So but yeah, I think it's a cool coming of age.
Here.
Yeah, that was
It's right at home.
a sneak diss. But yeah, that it's a cool coming of age story in the fact that like it's realizing that family is important. Basically just hold on to your family as long as you can because they may not be there forever. So I thought it was a cool message.
That's a good road trip movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was 95 when that movie came out.
95.
Okay,
Wow.
All right, so
That's a fun movie.
I was only 8 years old.
A year
when that
off.
happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like it. And I knew it was going to be a wild card, but it's one of those ones that like I hold near and dear to my heart.
No, I mean I like that. It's important to you, so it's like I definitely get that.
And who doesn't have fun watching that movie? And the sequel is pretty good too.
I don't believe you at all.
I actually really like it. You should watch it if you can.
I was scrolling through the like about an hour and a half ago, scrolling through all the Disney animated movies on Disney Plus, and like apparently there's like 3 Cinderella movies. There's like 2 or 3 Goofy movies. There's all these like crazy sequels that I don't even remember. I got to go through and watch them all because Christy just really wants to watch them all with me, and I'm totally down to watch all these terrible movies.
The only ones
Like,
that I've heard that are actually good are Aladdin 3, I think, is actually...
She was telling me like it's the King of Thieves. Apparently it's
Yeah.
really...
I've heard that's the only like real decent one. Maybe one of the Lion King sequels. I heard 2 is okay.
Frozen 2 is like, from what I've seen and heard, is probably the best Disney animated sequel.
For the record, barely any of them are in theaters.
Oh, I know,
So
that's the thing. Like that's how crazy
that's a
it
good
is.
sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your number 3, Bobby?
So I think you guys are gonna probably think I'm a little crazy for this, but my top 3 I could go in any order, but this is the order I landed on as of an hour ago. I've got The Lion King number 3.
Oh my god.
I know it's the strongest number 3 seed you've ever seen. The Lion King, it's Hamlet with animated lions. It's got probably the second best Disney soundtrack in my opinion. Elton John has a few songs that just freaking destroy. I think like the Circle of Life is just an amazing song. I just can't wait to be king. Like that's one of the most fun songs in Disney movie history. Then like really what sells me on this movie is the voice acting. You have James Earl Jones as Mufasa, but then I think even better trumping that is Jeremy Irons as Scar.
I was gonna say Jeremy Irons makes that movie.
Absolutely. I think like people like I said, people
Did
think
you
of
say
James Earl
JTT?
Jones.
No.
I did not say JTT, or I didn't say Ferris Bueller either. So
This probably has the best cast of any of these movies so far. I
Oh,
think
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
The
yeah,
Lion
no,
King. I think it trumps the new Lion King cast
well,
as well.
which is crazy. The new Lion King cast has a lot
it's
of
really,
like big
really good.
stars, but I think it's a lot more quantity than quality.
Well, most importantly, James Earl Jones is still in it, and I think
that's true.
The same argument I had about Eddie Murphy as Mushu. Anyone else as Mufasa just wouldn't work.
Well, okay,
so
it's
I'm
funny.
Glad they brought it back.
I watched the new one a few days ago, and I think I'm probably gonna butcher this, but Chiwetel Ejiofor voices Scar, and he's good, but he's just not Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons, like Mark Strong, those two have some of the most recognizable voices.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Ever. They're like such good villain voices, man.
Yeah.
So, and
I
no
think
matter who you are.
Scar is one of the top 3 Disney movie villains ever.
Oh, for sure.
I think he's just so menacing. He spoilers. He masterminds the death of his brother, the king, and then he's the one who basically allows him to die.
How are you gonna spoil this movie?
I gotta put that big red spoilers thing on her
there. Sorry about the spoilers for the 1994 movie, but
this movie's 26 years old, man.
Come on,
people don't have time.
You gotta give him 30 years.
Bobby. I'll give him a few more years before I spoil the next one.
I'll edit it out.
I just think it's one of the like I said, it could have been number 1 on my list, and nobody would have thought anything different of it. It's just that good, where it's all around probably one of the greatest movies of all time. That's how good this movie is.
Okay, so in terms of us deciding who's been swayed or whatever, I think Bobby is immediately disqualified. I think this movie's too strong for this spot.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Strong.
I'll give you that. I did do it a little low.
So, in terms of movie quality, Lion King it's too powerful for this spot, so I'm just gonna ignore that.
I'm going Mulan.
Yeah, I'm going Mulan too, because it's a better movie as a whole. I think Goofy movie has it's a nostalgia thing. Watched it 100 times as a kid, so. Yeah,
it's
I think
I
gotta give it.
Movie.
I gotta give it to Jay on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mulan. Like I'm really interested to see the new one, because I feel like a lot of the fun's going to be taken out of it, and it's going to be a lot more serious.
I disagree.
But
you think so? There's going to be like no music, no songs.
Well, is there no music?
I don't think there's going to be any songs. Like it's just not going to have the same style of the original, and I think that's going to be their downfall.
I do bet we're going to hear some instrumental versions or some other kind of altered version of the original songs in there.
And the movie's going to look great, and it's going to have probably a pretty good. It's probably going to be a more character-driven story than the cartoon, because if there is no songs, they're going to have to fill that space with characterization.
Out of all the remakes they've done recently, I think this is probably going to be, from what it looks like, the best one. I think it's going to top Aladdin. It's going to top.
Aladdin was average. The Lion King was slightly above average.
The Jungle Book, the Jungle Book remake.
Being that that's the only one I've seen, I think that one's the best
so far.
Would you agree?
I mean, it was pretty good. Honestly,
I really liked it.
That one got
Christopher Walken as King Louis was gold. It was ridiculous.
You're talking to my guy all wrong.
Massive King Louis was.
Oh, they made him huge.
I was like, what is going on?
He was King Kong, basically.
Yeah, really. It was
King
giant.
Louis, my ass.
Orangutan.
All right, so yeah, I guess Jay wins this round. All right, so we're down to the nitty gritty, really.
Kevin's the only one without a win so far.
I have a win.
We all know.
Was that my first win?
You got a tie.
We tied the first round. So I have 1 point. You guys have 2 points.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna win these next two.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's a Goofy movie 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, what are you doing?
All right, so since Jay won, Bobby, you take it away. What's your number 2?
My number 2, and I know you guys are going to give me some guff for this one, but my number 2 is Tangled. I didn't see this one until maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, but it's such a fun movie. It's like you have Zachary Levi as the main character, or one of the main characters, Flynn Rider. Then you have Mandy Moore as Rapunzel. And their chemistry together in this movie is probably the best chemistry of any two characters in Disney animated movies. You have their journey on her trying to figure out who she is. Like, she wants to see, like, she says, like, the floating lanterns. Like, they look like stars, but then she finds out that they're floating lanterns, and they come on her birthday every year. And, like, as you probably know from, like, the old fairy tales, she's, like, she's captured and, like, kept in this tower. In this movie, her Mother Gothel, she uses her hair to, stay younger, and she treats her as her daughter. And it's just like, it's weird because like she's a really like she's a really good villain. Like she does some like really villainous stuff in the movies, like some really cunning stuff. But there are also some moments where like she actually does treat her as like her daughter. So it's a really interesting back and forth to see like where she does seem to care, but it's also for, you know, personal bad reasons.
She has ulterior motives, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's also like I said, it's like for her birthday, like she travels like 3 days to go get her this like these things that she can paint with. So it's like no, like I don't remember what exactly they are. It's to create paint basically.
So paint, yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Go to Home Depot.
Well, the Home Depot's a little far away from her castle in the jungle, so.
Well, there's a Michael's 2 blocks from her castle. So.
But it's like you know, like I said, Zachary Levi and Manny Moore, they've got great chemistry. There's a great villain. You've got 2 really good supporting characters in Pascal, which is like a pet chameleon she has.
Which made no sense to me. Why is there a chameleon in this movie?
I mean, it's you know, it's a Disney movie. Of course, there's gonna be some pet character who
it's an exotic animal, and I don't know where they're set in middle of Europe.
It could have been a parrot.
That makes more sense because they get around.
And then there's a horse. The horse is actually better. The horse is named Maximus, and he works for like the I guess the government, or I don't know what you would call it.
The horse works for the government?
You know, it's like a horse for the the government soldiers, but it's like the head of the security, which is like, and it's chasing Flynn Rider, who's like a bit of a criminal because he steals from the kingdom.
Can it talk?
And it's just no, but it's
hilarious.
It's very sentient, and it's just hilarious watching it like fight Flynn Rider, which is Zachary Levi's character. It's like just throughout the movie.
Get into that. I think
this movie sounds like nonsense to me.
Well, it's great.
I love that.
It's amazing. You just like you see this horse fighting a guy, and he's using, by the way, a frying pan fighting the horse with the horse has a sword in its mouth. It's complete nonsense. It's amazing. Is
it a rapier?
No, it's not. It's just a standard sword. It's a fun movie. You know, I was talking about like The Emperor's New Groove as far as like the fun level. This amps it up even more. That's why I would put it above The Lion King.
Well, I know why it really is so far up your list. It's because Zachary Levi.
Yeah, Zachary Levi is great. I love Zachary Levi. He's Chuck.
But how do you not love Chuck? You convinced me to watch this movie.
I'm going to watch it.
I can't say when, but definitely before 24.
I've seen it all the way through. I've seen parts of it. I haven't watched the whole thing.
Kevin, that means you might watch it before you die.
Yeah, absolutely. I guarantee that.
You're going to watch 24 on your deathbed.
I promise you that, yeah. If you give me that much time, I'll take it. All right, Jay, what do you got? What's your number 2?
Number 2 is Hercules.
Oh, that's a very good one.
Hercules.
I almost put that on my list too.
Almost. How's it not on your list?
Because it ain't.
It's got another amazing soundtrack. Danny DeVito is great.
Oh man,
as a satyr. I can't remember who played Hercules.
Oh, it's the guy. You guys don't like Friends. He plays Rachel's boyfriend on Friends. That's what I know him from the most. He's in Shooter. He's like he's one of the FBI agents in Shooter. That's as far as I can remember.
The TV show or the movie?
The movie. He's oh man, what is his name? Jay, what are you doing, man?
It's a good TV show.
It's James Woods.
That's Hades.
Just kidding.
It's Tate Donovan.
Tate Donovan, yeah.
Who's Tate Donovan? There we go.
Oh, I know that guy. Okay.
It's Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito plays all the parts.
I would watch that movie.
They should make that. That'd be good.
Oh man.
But that movie is just so much fun. And said James Woods. I never used to like James Woods, but this last couple of years I've turned around, and I think he's pretty good. He's great.
He's really damn good in that movie.
Yeah.
As the villain.
Yeah. He's great at that as a Hades, and then just to see him fight all the monsters was really cool. The Hydra, the Chimera, the Cerberus, everything was so much fun. It's just a really, really fun movie, and again, it takes a pretty serious story and makes it lighthearted, like most Disney movies are. Obviously, it makes that to be kind of wholesome, but it makes it. It's just really cool. It's just a hero fighting monsters. So I mean, what more could you want?
When I was younger, I was super into Greek mythology, so like that movie was right up my alley. So I love anything that has to do with the gods of Olympus and all that.
Yeah,
so, nice choice. Very nice choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very good movie.
You piece of shit. Anyways, just kidding. All right, so for my number 2, I have Beauty and the Beast. This movie might be. I think it might be a little bit of an underdog for us.
You like the Beast? Is that why?
No, but Belle was after Nala. Was
This is all
Disney
based
princess.
on Kevin's crushes. So
Yeah,
Kevin
basically.
secretly had a crush on
Exactly.
Cruella de Vil.
Cruella de Vil. Yeah. Maid Marian.
She's a
The
cougar.
chick
Man.
from a Goofy movie. Now Belle. No, but in terms of female characters, this is one of the original. Like I said earlier, when you're talking about Moana, this is one of the first female characters in terms of Disney princesses that actually had her own thoughts and she was independent. All she wanted to do was read and learn and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that this was the first time that they'd ever really done something like that with any of these characters. Because like Little Mermaid was just total passive main character. You name it, they're all like that. Cinderella's like that.
Oh yeah,
Sleeping
definitely.
Beauty. This girl actually took an active role in building the story, and on top of that, it's a heartwarming love story. It's about a guy who thinks he's not worthy of anybody because of the way he looks, which I can relate to. I am the Beast. No, just kidding. But yeah, and he just basically learns that sometimes it's not all about that, and if you're a good person, then good people will like you, and it's an interesting story. Not only that, you have all the side characters. It's really interesting having all the furniture and the silverware and all that stuff being alive, and the songs are great. Gaston is funny.
Yeah, he is.
Some interesting nods on that is the fact that like Gaston's got fanged teeth. He's the only like male Disney character with fanged teeth, and it's to show that he's a villain before you really know it. His sidekick, which I'm trying to blank on his name right now.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
Pierre or something like
Yeah, yeah. Their relationship
Pierre?
is really funny because he's just like he loves Gaston,
And he treats him like garbage. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
like garbage. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool aspects, and overall in terms of a story, there's scary parts, there's heartwarming parts, there's fun parts, there's funny parts. And I think it just has a lot to offer, and the animation at the time. They were doing, apparently I was doing a little bit of research on this, they were doing some new animation techniques, so it looks way better than anything that had come before it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
much smoother film than.
Was it
Exactly.
in the 50s or 60s? Do you know?
No, this is like 90...
91.
Oh wow, there's a lot newer than I thought. For some reason, I thought it was
Beauty
one
and
of
the
the
Beast?
golden age.
Yeah, pretty
It's
sure.
91.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like one of the notable scenes is when they're going into the big ballroom, and it's obvious that there's computer generation with the background. Like when they're walking in and you just see like the grand ballroom, the ceiling, and all that stuff. Really, really cool and interesting animation techniques. But yeah, just like I said, overall, lots to offer. This movie has something for everybody, so that's why I really like it.
Well, I
But
think it's really cool.
Mostly because Belle's hot. Let's start with that.
What I think it's really cool about this
Mostly,
movie is how they figured out how to animate furniture and make inanimate objects animate.
Look alive,
It-
yeah.
Look alive, and they have appendages, and then like there was the armoire, the maid. She's just a big hefty woman, and I think they're just so much like their real characters. It's just pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely a fun watch. I mean, I think the last time I saw it, I did like a movie in the park, and like, it was just a really enjoyable experience.
You by
Just-
yourself at a movie in the park
Oh, it was just me, nobody else.
on your phone. You're like,
Like there was literally
Thanks
nobody
for the
else
invite.
there.
I'm in the
I was
park
the only one there.
watching a movie.
But no, I definitely agree. That's a fun movie. I considered putting it in my, because especially since it is one of the classics, I considered putting it on my list, but it just I couldn't quite justify it myself.
Yeah. Well, you can be wrong. All right.
I mean,
so...
I'm all wrong all the time. It's fine.
Okay, so of these three, anybody swayed?
I mean, if I were to go for any of them, I'd probably lean towards Hercules because it's a really fun watch, and I like the music in it. It's kind of like soulful. Like Meg has a song where like I can't remember the name of it, but it's like talking about like how she's not in love, but she totally is, and like that's one of my favorite Disney songs.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite watches as well. So I'd probably go Hercules.
Well, I'm gonna stick with mine. I think it was the most innovative, especially for the time. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. So Jerry, are you gonna tie break? Or are you gonna stick with yours?
I'm torn actually between mine and yours. I think it's like 50-50 right now.
You guys need to watch Tangled for sure.
Nobody needs to watch Tangled. I do not recommend that movie. Being as someone who hasn't seen it, do not watch it.
But I think since I'm torn between the two, I'm gonna have to actually lean towards my pick and still be Hercules.
Yeah,
what a guy,
the dishonorable thing.
What a guy, Jay. You do not bring honor to your family.
All right, well, it is what it is. I guess Jay gets the point. Thanks a lot, Bobby.
I know.
Okay.
Hercules is fun. It's more fun than Beauty and the Beast.
That's not what it's always about.
I like fun.
Sometimes you want to be moved.
Do you feel emotional in that movie? Have you? Oh God! I know what your number one is. Oh geez.
Duh. Everyone should know what the number one is because everyone should have had this at number one.
No. Is it not Fox and the Hound?
It is not. No. No, because honestly, I don't remember enough about that movie because I've only seen it twice.
Is it because you cry every time like a little baby?
Yeah.
Who doesn't cry when the fox and the hound?
Yeah, dude, that's his best friend.
I'm a hound dog,
dude.
Come on.
If I killed you, I wouldn't cry.
That just sucks. Okay, so
Sad.
Jay, you'd cry, right? If you killed me?
Yeah, I'd cry. And if Bobby killed you,
why are you killing me? Wrong answer. Trick question. Trick question. You fail. You're all.
That was loaded.
You're all dead to me. All right, so I'll just take it away. Number one is the obvious choice, and I think, like I said, everyone should have this here. And I had a problem with Bobby's position on this movie because it's too low. The Lion King is the best animated Disney movie of all time. It's Shakespeare with lions. What more can I say?
Which is crazy. It's great.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, the cast is amazing. James Earl Jones, JTT, who was hotter than him at the time? No, I mean in terms of popularity.
He's so hot right then.
He's so hot right now.
Jeez, Jay. Nala's the real hot one. So, but all the songs, Timon and Pumbaa, great comic relief. Hakuna Matata, probably the most famous Disney song. Is there one more famous? I think it my opinion.
I
mean,
the
most famous.
Hakuna Matata.
Circle of Life is probably.
Oh yeah, that too.
Hakuna Matata is up there above Circle of Life.
I have a song, but I'll wait for that one.
Yeah, dude. Like this, I think the soundtrack is fantastic. The animation is awesome. Shakespeare with lions. The cast is great. Darth Vader is in it. So yeah,
as Darth Vader.
I don't think that there's really. I can't think of a bad thing to say about that movie. To be honest, everything is cool. Maybe the goose stepping.
Pretty much perfect.
The goose stepping.
But
and the hyenas.
Yeah, but I'm just kidding because that's totally fine because they're freaking evil. So make them evil. Yeah, I can't think of a single bad thing to say about this movie.
It's hard. Like I told you, that could have been my number one. It's just like I was feeling.
3.
I know. Weird. It's just how I was feeling at the time. But my number one, neither one of you have so far. So I'm very curious why that is. But Jay, what do you have number one?
Okay. Number one is a very unpopular opinion. It's probably one of the more, not obscure, but the least watched maybe Disney movies.
Steamboat Willie.
Rescuers Down Under.
I knew it.
No.
So much.
You like it because there's boobies in that movie.
No, that's Rescuers. This is the first one.
Oh, no. Isn't that The Great Mouse Detective?
No, that's the first
one of the
Rescuers. No, wait, it is Great Mouse. Yeah, no, it's in the airplane window. Yeah, she's like looking in a mirror.
No, they're dive bombing in a plane, and they're going down an apartment building, and you can see through the window.
I thought that was in The Great Mouse Detective. I was telling Christy about that earlier, actually.
No,
I guess it was the wrong.
It's in one of the Rescuers. I can't remember which one.
It's the first.
Rescuers
Down Under. It's because I think, obviously, this is nostalgia factors for me, and not like.
This is your Goofy movie.
This is my Goofy movie, exactly. I think the characters in it are so cool. You get the giant eagle. I mean, come on, giant eagles. Can't go wrong with giant eagles. You got the bad guy with this really cool lizard. Well, I was going to lead to that because...
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Sorry.
You got Lord of the Rings, you got The Hobbit, you got this. And then, here comes my Power Ranger reference, the White Ranger. At one point, he had the Eagle Zord. It's the freaking coolest toy I ever played with when I was a kid.
This is a weird tie-in.
It's a very weird time.
Giant eagles just do it for me, all right?
Giant eagles are your Nala.
I'm my Nala, yeah.
You called me weird?
Weird fetish, giant eagles.
Smash that like button if you like Nala.
Smash the like button if you like giant eagles.
Exactly.
And goannas. And a lizard.
Chicks with really, really long hair.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was set in the place I wanted to visit most of my whole life, Australia. So
you wanted to go to the British jail?
Yeah, British jail sounds so much fun.
You guys are going to offend Australians. It's
I
too
think
soon, all right?
Sorry to the
Can
Australians.
Australians
that
be
listen to our
offended?
channel.
I don't know.
No, they're too cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
See, there we go. Yeah,
Like,
See?
fuck it,
See?
mate.
I turned
It's
an
all right.
insult into a compliment.
exactly. And I think a lot of the character design, like obviously the villain in that was really cool. His pet goanna lizard, monitor lizard, whatever it is, was really awesome. Actually, it's a pretty violent Disney movie. They're shooting shotguns at people all the whole time.
Yeah, they did
And
that
trying
in
to-
number 2. Okay.
He's trying to catch an eagle. He's the male Cruella de Vil. You know, he wants the eagle for its feathers so he can make stuff out of it. So
Just A stuff. Yeah.
just stuff. He wants to hang one of the giant feathers from his ear.
He wants to make one earring
One ear.
out of one giant eagle.
Giant eagle.
Nice.
Uh,
Well, that's
so, I
definitely
mean,
a
just-
sleeper pick if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on to my number 1, and I'm just very curious how neither one of you had Aladdin on your lists, because Aladdin is my number 1 pick. Robin Williams is a goddamn ringer. That dude is phenomenal. He is a comedic genius, and Aladdin is an absolute star movie because of him.
I think if we were to do greatest Disney characters, then for sure.
Yeah, but
Robin
I
he
disagree with
props
that. Oh,
movie
Robin
up.
Williams. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Aladdin. I was like,
No,
No,
I think
hold
the
up.
rest of the characters
okay.
in the movie.
Aladdin's good.
The reason that Aladdin's not on my list is because it is a fun movie, but what is like Aladdin's just a horrible person.
No. He's actually
That's
not.
what Robbie finished.
He is.
It's like
He's-
life.
You know what's funny? He's you both had this movie on your list. He's Robin Hood. He steals from the rich and gives
And
to
gives
the
it
poor.
himself.
No. In
One
one of
did
the,
an apple.
Yeah,
no.
he
In
gave
one of the
one
beginning
apple.
scenes, he gives a loaf of bread to the 2 starving kids.
But why didn't he wish for 1,000 loaf of breads for those starving kids from the genie?
Because he freed the genie. He used his last wish to free the genie.
Oh.
But that was
Selflessly.
So how
that
did
wasn't
help
out of
poor?
the selflessness of his heart. He did it out of guilt because the kids were like whimpering. He's like, "Oh, here." That wasn't his intention from the
Well,
get-go.
the thing is, now the princess knows the plight of the people because she almost got beheaded for
So
for accidentally stealing an apple.
So his selfishness is what led to the good outcome of the story.
Well, the thing that's character development. He was a selfish person who did steal, but then he felt guilty and gave to the poor. But then he realized what it was to be a good person. That's his character arc.
Okay.
I don't think
and-
he actually learns that lesson.
I
He,
think he does.
he only did it under duress because he was dying, because he was drowning. He's like, oh, it's like when
No, he didn't.
yeah, remember he's drowning and then he
No, he didn't. That's not at the end of the movie. After Jafar's defeated, that's when he frees the genie.
Well, I know, but that's when he realizes that he's got to change, and then is during that scene because he's with, isn't it? I haven't seen this movie in forever.
I'm gonna say no.
When was the last time you've seen this movie?
I saw it within the last year, and I watched I actually watched the Aladdin remake, which is just
So did I.
pointless.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
But it's okay. So another thing, I would say that this is the best Disney soundtrack. You have Arabian Nights, you have Friend Like Me, One Jump Ahead, Prince Ali, and then probably the best Disney song, A Whole New World. I would say that is the best
I don't
Disney
think that
song.
beats Hakuna Matata.
No, I think that's better. I think
it beats Tarzan's soundtrack with Phil
Tarzan's
Collins.
soundtrack is
Phil
fantastic.
Collins.
amazing.
I almost had Tarzan on here. Phil Collins' soundtrack is really damn good, but I don't think it beats Aladdin's. Well, I don't
For the
even think
record-
it beats Lion King's.
For the record, Bobby, I'm just giving you a hard time about the movie, but
Wait, you're
because I
giving
do
me
like it.
no.
You're
You
giving
save,
me tons of guff.
save the guff for Jay.
I
Okay?
don't think this
You
movie.
said to give you guff earlier.
The thing is, though, is like the fact that Jay and I didn't have this on our list is telling of the movie's.
I think that's
quality.
telling of
I think-
you two, not
No.
of the movie.
How is
No, like
Aladdin
I
better
said.
than Lion King?
Like I told you,
Aladdin's
Robin,
obviously better
Robin
than
Williams
Rescuers.
is the reason
Like I
why the
said.
movie is better.
That's the only reason, though. 'cause
No,
I
it's
feel
not-
like
it's
Robin
not the only
Williams
That's the.
carries
okay.
that whole movie.
All right,
Lion
can
King
I-
has Vader in it.
Can I tell you? Okay, just so you know, the Rotten Tomatoes scores for Lion King is 93, both critic and audience. The Aladdin score is 95 critic, 92 audience. That is a
Right.
higher score combined.
But we
for
know
Aladdin.
that critics don't always know what they're talking about, and
It's
the
a
audience
higher
score is
combined
higher.
score.
Look
It's,
at us.
It doesn't matter.
Listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about.
yes, so that
Half
helps.
five.
That helps me.
We can't
That's
always
enough,
go. We can't always go off of the Rotten Tomatoes. It's a good aggregate, but The audience score was higher for The Lion King.
We gotta use meta scores, guys. We gotta use the meta scores.
It's 1 point higher, and it's 2 points higher for the critic score.
Like I said,
so it's a higher
always correct.
Aggregate score.
But the audience score is more important, in my opinion. It's weighted heavier. Because, and I'm not even only saying this just to win the argument. It's something that I've always believed, and I'm pretty sure you've said it before.
I feel like the audience score is more of an honest score.
I think
there's no political or anything.
It's more of an enjoyable factor. In my opinion.
No. When the scores are so close together, when it's a huge discrepancy, I would rather take the audience score. But when the scores are so close together, there is a margin
of error, of course. Yeah, I get you there. But we have to nitpick. It's literally our job.
I thought we agreed no nitpicking on these things.
No, complete opposite. Only nitpicking.
Only nitpicking. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, but the thing is, like, Robin Williams, like, he is as the genie. Like, if you're talking movie history, he's probably one of the top 5 characters of all time. Like, just of any movie, he is so enjoyable in that role. He just is just one joke after the next, just rapid fire. He is so damn good in that role. Really Will Smith is crazy charismatic and crazy likable, and he couldn't even come close in the remake. Like, I don't know what he was necessarily trying to do, but he just couldn't even come close to Robin Williams. You know,
the only role that Robin Williams was better in was Flubber.
Flubber, no, Flubber is definitely the top role. I will agree.
No, Jack is the one.
Hey, yeah. Jack is an enjoyable movie, and
I like that movie.
It gave us Jennifer Lopez.
Patch Adams.
Nobody likes that movie.
We're so sad.
What about Good Morning Vietnam? That's actually a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, RV. RV was the best movie.
What?
Jay, why do you like every movie?
I didn't like everything. I was joking.
Yeah, right. Being
facetious.
All right, so for this round we got Aladdin, Rescuers Down Under, and The Lion King. How are we looking, Jay? What are you voting?
Well, if I actually have to look at it objectively, I'm gonna go with The Lion King.
Oh, so unlike me, is what you're trying to say.
But
no, subjectively, is his own movie. He can't vote for his own movie
it's
because
my movie.
You son of a gun.
This reminds me. This is shades of our old show, the objectively thing. Anyways, so basically, you're giving the point to me on that one.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, Kevin. What's your choice?
My choice is Lion King.
It's Rescuers Down Under.
It's such a good movie. Listen, the cast is great. The songs are great. The story is great. The animation is great. It's great. It's a great movie. It's so tight. Name a bad thing.
There's not. Name a bad thing about Aladdin.
Aladdin isn't a very likable character, in my opinion.
Yeah. Aladdin is a likable character.
There's Princess Jasmine. So. She's not very likable either.
I like Princess Jasmine.
Princess Jasmine.
Of course you do.
She's the third hottest Disney princess. Nala, Belle, Jasmine.
I will give it to Aladdin. It has one of the creepier villains. Jafar is pretty good.
That's actually, I wanted to talk about him. Jafar. Oh, so going from this to the remake, Jafar's voice, it's not as iconic as Jeremy Irons, but like when you see the Jafar from the new Aladdin, you miss the original Jafar and his voice so much. It's so weird to see like a Jafar with like a voice that's like not booming in any way. It's not like a deep voice, and it really hurts the movie. Like he's like this light talker almost, and it hurts the movie, honestly.
Is he a close talker?
Yeah, I was hoping you were gonna say he was a close talker.
Well, that's one thing.
His man hands.
I think that, and this is gonna be my last attempt to get you to switch over, Bobby. The fact that the Lion King remake kept one of the original cast members to play one of the roles, I think is a point towards my movie. You think
that's gonna sway me?
Yeah, James Earl Jones as Mufasa, perfect casting. And when they remade that movie, they were like, "What are we gonna do? We gotta keep the same guy." Aladdin didn't even bother. They didn't even bother. I was gonna say a really off-color joke.
They didn't even get Robin Williams.
I was gonna say that. Damn it.
Oh, jeez.
I felt like it was. For the record, love Robin Williams. Sorry, rest in peace.
Since we're talking about the new Lion King movie, one thing that really annoyed me about it was Billy and what's his name and Seth Rogen.
Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen were actually my favorite part.
Really, I couldn't stand them. I thought they were so annoying.
Seth Rogen, Pumbaa.
Yeah, I thought they were really annoying.
They were fun. Like Christy and I were talking about it. Like that was probably because the movie wasn't all that good. Like because it's like why remake this movie when I'm just gonna think, oh, this was better in the original. This was better in, so on and so forth. But Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen, they gave it a little bit of a different spin than the original Timon and Pumbaa, and I enjoyed it. I thought that part was actually pretty good.
Well, I guess what we've learned today is that Bobby, I'm pretty sure you won. I wasn't really keeping track of the score, but
I think Jay actually won based on the voting. But yeah, I'll take the win.
I got
okay, we'll give Bobby the win because he obviously knows the most about this. So let's reward him in that case. Just a couple questions for you guys. So out of all these movies, if you had to choose one, who is the best protagonist,
overall
main protagonist out of all these movies?
Oh, that's a good one. I might have to go either Simba or Moana.
I'm gonna go Robin Hood.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Simba also.
I think Simba has such a great progression.
His character arc is.
He goes through the hero's journey.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, and the listeners will probably get this at some point, but I love characters who show up, who answer the call of whatever their duty is. Yeah. And Simba has a long road getting there, but once he realizes this is what I have to do in order to save my people, that's a reoccurring character arc that I love in characters. I mentioned it on one of the other podcasts. I think it was about Zod. Zod is very duty bound. With his motivation, but so that's why I like Simba. I think he's awesome.
In that case, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in that Hercules, okay. I mean, Hercules is a good one too because he wants to get back, or he wants to earn his way to Mount Olympus to be with his father. Yeah. So he wants to show his father and all the other gods that he's worthy. So I definitely see that. But Kevin, you're what you were talking about. You should watch. We got to watch Moana soon. Because you'll see her progression, she earns everything she gets, and she fights for it, and she the call to adventure, she takes it with open arms, and not out of just a super selfless need, but it's I think you'll see that she performs the hero's journey as good as any of the greats. I think you'd really enjoy that.
Well, I mean, I can't really comment on that, but the thing that I think sets Simba apart, which I don't know if Moana follows this same path, but Simba basically runs away from his problem, not only based on fear, but, once he finds out that he's supposed to be king, he's really reluctant to go back until he's eventually convinced. And I think that when a main character doesn't do the right thing right away because it's easy for the plot, I think that makes characters more interesting and makes them more human. Which is ironic because he's a lion. But
that's the most human thing about Simba.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's why Simba I think is the best. And I have an obvious love for this movie. I think it's amazing. But okay, how about of all these movies, best villain?
Antagonist.
I would probably go. It's tough because I'm going back and forth between Scar and Jafar, but I think. It's Shakespeare. I think I got to go with Scar.
Yeah, I think Scar is really good. I actually think Gaston is really good. Cruella de Vil is really good. I think the most well-rounded of them is probably Scar.
Just forgetting Hades. It's probably the most fun villain.
Yeah, I mean Hades is cast aside by his brother and wants to get revenge on all the other gods and stuff like that. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, and just obviously James Woods' performance makes.
Oh, he's very good in that.
So is that your choice, Jay?
Yeah.
Hades?
So you would Scar, Kevin?
Yeah, I think if I had to choose between the three that I mentioned, I think that Cruella de Vil is the scariest, but the least human.
Did Jafar not scare you guys as a kid? He scared me a little bit as a kid, with some of the scenes towards the end.
For me, he never really did because he's always this skinny dude who had a dumbass parrot as a sidekick.
He was a sorcerer though.
But when he turned into the snake, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, when he was the evil genie, that was kind of the peak of.
He does turn into a snake, right?
Scary.
I think in one of the sequels. Oh no, doesn't he turn his thing?
His staff is a snake.
His scepter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I need to watch that movie again. Okay, so are you picking Scar then, Bobby?
I'll go Scar. Yeah.
All right.
Fine. Just kidding.
Fine.
All right. And last
what about
question.
Best soundtrack. I'm sorry if you.
Go ahead. I'll save this one.
So best soundtrack, I'm going Aladdin. I think that it has the most great songs in it. But what do you guys think?
I think I gotta go with Lion King. I think it has every song's a hit.
I might
Name
go
a bad
Beauty and the
song, Jay.
Beast. I might go with Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast has a really good
Beauty and the
soundtrack,
Beast
too.
has a lot of good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, Be Our Guest, classic.
You got Celine Dion in there. I mean,
Celine Dion, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know
I
that.
thought you didn't like her.
I love Celine Dion.
Oh, who's the one you don't like?
I don't know.
Lots of people.
The girl who dated,
Taylor
like-
Swift.
No, the girl who dated Lance Armstrong.
Oh, Sheryl
Sheryl
Crow.
Crow.
Yeah, you don't like her.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Last
Half her
question.
songs are covers and they're horrible.
Yeah. Last question that I have: who is the sexiest Disney
Oh,
princess?
yeah. We should have known this was going to go there.
Oh, sexy.
We know
I'm just
Kevin's
kidding.
pick.
We don't have to answer.
Yes.
I've
I'm
made
gonna
my
go
choice
Rapunzel.
Okay.
Sexiest Disney prince? I'm still going to go with. Are we talking about movies we picked or just all together?
Out of all five.
Out of all 5 of these.
Did we
Out of
actually
any
get 15
of our
votes? No.
15 or like 12 to 15, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Does Meg count as a princess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Meg.
She has weird hair. That's a weird choice. All right.
She's a little bony.
Whatever. She's Greek.
She's got a lot of it. All right, yeah, I think that wraps everything up. Let us know what you think of our lists. I mean, obviously, I'm going to get a lot of guff, probably more than Jay this time.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of you
My
guys
number
picked
one
Aladdin.
was. My number one was.
Yeah,
Rescue.
because Aladdin's such an obvious choice, and you're just a front runner, man.
I'm just a mark. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you're Mark. Oh, hey, Mark. Anyways, yeah, let us know what you think of our list. Give us your list. Let us know who had the best one. I'm assuming it's going to be Bobby. And then, yeah, leave some comments, smash that like button, subscribe. And we'll see you in the next episode.
And thank you for riding the wave.
Wow.
Show that nar.
Get hit.
See you tomorrow.